What I am going to show you today is what I think are the 3 essential side dishes for Thanksgiving. I am going to show you how to make stuffing in the form of muffins. I am going to show you how to make roasted Brussels sprouts with a balsamic glaze and bacon. And I'm going to show you how to make our favorite delicious mashed potatoes that have been approved by every boy and man in this house. With these 3 side dishes, your Thanksgiving will be a hit, guaranteed. To start my favorite stuffing, you start with sausage. So I have sausage here, and since it's not bulk and it's in the casing, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the casings, which you can easily do by just taking your knife and running it down the sausage to slice open the casing and then just pull the casing off very easily. I'm gonna take a little olive oil. White olive oil is fine. You don't really need the extra virgin, just enough to lube up your pan. And then we will take the sausage with the casings removed and just go ahead and add it to the pan, break it up with your fingers a bit. We are just gonna brown this up. While that is sizzling away and browning, we can prepare our vegetables. So all you need for stuffing, for this stuffing anyway, and for most traditional stuffings, is onion and celery. And then I am going to add some garlic because you have to, right? I'm just going to, as you do, however you like, just chop your onion up. And we're going to take 3 ribs of celery. All right, this is popping and spitting, and that's good. So I'm going to turn this off. It's nice and browned. And as you can see, we've got some nice color on the bottom of the pan too. So that's why I would suggest doing this all in one pan, because you don't want to waste this flavor. I'm going to turn the fire back on and bring over your onion and celery. And if you want to eyeball this, this looks just like about a heaping cup, I would say, of onion. About a cup of each, but heaping. So then you just want to give this a stir, and the moisture from the onion and the celery will start to release right away. And when that happens, the flavor from the bottom of the pan will come up and into the vegetables. And you can see that happening right now. And that is flavoring our vegetables. We're just going to give it some salt to wake up the flavors, and some pepper. If you want to spice up the stuffing a little bit, just grab some red pepper flake and put a little pinch in. That's been cooking for a few minutes and it's starting to soften. So now is the time that you want to go ahead and put the garlic in. So we are going to grab, I'm going to say 2 fatties. And remember what I say about garlic. It's not a clove unless it's like that. Okay, so that's a clove. And the good way to know is if you are using a garlic press, if it just fits, that's a clove. I mean, there's a good indicator right here. It's sizing it for you. So I'm going to go ahead and press this into my pan. Try not to get it all over the kitchen. Thank you. Thank you. My director is having a hard time with the talent today because she's got a little bit of a cold and she's a little cranky. I'm a bit of a mouth breather today, and I'm getting sassy. So, and then just go ahead and stir this up. You can see some wonderful color on these vegetables right now, and some good smells, right, babe?
I smell it.
Oh, you know, we didn't put in this butter. We're supposed to put the butter in. That's okay.
Final ingredient.
Yeah. Well, you could have started with this. It probably would have made a lot of sense, but we also want to put in 2 sticks of butter. So we'll just put them in now, whatever. It doesn't really matter because you're mainly just doing this to melt the butter. And we had a lot of drippings from the sausage as well. So, you know, you want adequate fat in your stuffing because it's literally a bowl of dried bread that you were trying to make not dry. Okay. So you see this? Do you see this? So take your butter and put it in there. I'm breaking it up because I feel like it. Why not moisturize your nail beds as well while you're doing this? Now's the time, if you've not done it already, to preheat your oven to 350. So we'll get that going. Make sure there's nothing in there chilling. Now, look at this. So you see the melted butter and the celery, all amazing in here. That's good stuff right there. That's good stuff. Well, I'm basically going to turn this off because we don't really need to cook it anymore. We're going to add good old sage and thyme, the Thanksgiving spices, right? So I think a teaspoon of sage. Oop, it's about like that. Okay. And this is when the Thanksgiving smells start to hit. And now, really, we just put it together into the stuffing mixture.
What's going on?
So,
What?
Whoa, this is behind the curtain, babe.
Yeah.
This is backstage.
We're showing them.
Oh gosh. So, you probably all have this situation, right?
No.
Don't think that we are any different.
No.
This is.
We just have to explain how large this cabinet
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Why don't you just climb in there?
We could.
There's probably another 6 feet you can just
I
crawl
know.
in there.
I could just be in there. We could be hiding people
This
in
is
there.
our tornado shelter.
Yeah, basically. The idea here is to get the biggest bowl that you have. We are basically just going to assemble the stuffing. This is easy stuff, guys. So really just kind of trying to highlight how easy this is.
Wait.
And how do you highlight how beautiful and easy cooking is? With slow motion. If you could help me, babe, please. Oh. Can you grab spatch? And... Okay. Ah!
What do I do here?
I think it's the first time I ever got spanked with spatch. Probably not the
You
last.
behave.
Probably not the last.
Behave.
Just get as much of it out as you can. All the flavor. Get it in there. Then add this liquid. So this, yeah, what is this? Add this liquid.
It's like right out of the creek water.
Right. Go find a rusty pipe
Yeah.
and just get the water out of it. It is chicken stock. So I have a little under 2 cups of chicken stock. It'd be about 2 cups for like a pound of breadcrumbs. And this was like 13.5 probably ounces. So I'm going to add about 3/4 of this first because you can't take it away, right? So we'll add it. So I'm going to stir this up. I don't need that. And we will see if it's moist enough, and if not, we'll add the rest. Yeah, it's still looking, I think we can go ahead and use the whole amount. So I'm going to pour the rest in. I'm confident. You have to do that at the end. If you don't, your stuffing will suck. You got to give it a... We are going to use a cupcake pan instead. I have a little piece of celery in there. And you want to spray it. And then you just want to spoon this mixture into the cups. But I really want to make them packed in really good and overflowing. I want them to look like they're exploding out. Just as I've done with this one, and this gave me, what, four more. So that's 12 plus 4, 16. After you've, filled them overflowing in your muffin pan with your stuffing mixed, and take your hand and like really squeeze it down and kind of like form it into mounds, because you want them to, when they come out, to stay together. Now, the reason that we're going to put foil on it is it's going to keep all that moisture in as it bakes. And that's important because we want them to fuse and be moist. Just make sure that it is sealed all the way. You don't want to let any of the heat out. Yeah, let's put those in the oven for about 30 minutes. Timer's going off. It's been a half an hour. Let's check our stuffing muffins. I'm gonna take these bad boys out of here. Oh, it smells roll good. So now is when we want to take the foil off. Ooh, look at all that steam that got
Don't get burnt.
Caught in there. I know, I won't. Ooh, get your butter. And let's just butter the tops. Let's go ahead and put them back in the oven. Maybe for 10 minutes or so, that's kind of my guess. We'll put these back on the middle rack and let them brown and firm up. Let's take a look at our stuffing muffins. Okay, looking pretty good, pretty good. Ooh. We can go ahead and get the mashed potatoes going. So I just peeled them, and I have had them sitting in water this whole time because you want to get your potatoes, as soon as you peel them, rinse them off, and then cut them and put them in your pot and put water over them. If you can't do that right away, at least put the potatoes in the pot and put water over them, because you don't want them to start turning that brownish color and oxidizing. Just cut them all up about that size, or just so they're all the same size, really. So like one like this, cut it like that, cut it like that, and then cut it like in half. Something like that. And do that with all of your potatoes. So now you're filling the pot with water just until you're covering the potatoes. And fire this baby up to hella high so we can bring it to a boil. Basically, you want to boil your potatoes for about 15 minutes or until they're fork tender. So these feel, I think, done. Let's see. Ready? Get in there. Yeah, definitely done. I knew that this was done because I just barely pushed and it just like went right into the potato, and the potato even started to break apart. So time to drain. Pour them in your colander slowly. And now you're just going to just put your pot off to the side because you're going to return the potatoes right back to the hot pot. Let's put them, give it a little shake. And then return it right back to the pot. Take a stick of butter and cut it into pieces and take them over to your potatoes. See how they're nice and hot and steamy? This is when you want to add that butter all over and let it start melting. You want to get some milk. And I like to use my kosher salt for this because you wouldn't believe like the amount of salt you need to put into mashed potatoes, honestly, to make them like good. How I do it is I just eyeball it. So what are you doing? Oh no.
You said salt.
I did say salt.
You did say salt. You're a little more.
Oh gosh.
Try this. Oh, okay.
Okay. Are we ready?
So
anyway, apparently if you do salt something, you must grab it with your hand, put it up like this, and go.
Bend the wrist the other way.
Bring the wrist like
That's
this?
it.
Like this?
That's it.
Okay. I think I got some of it in the pot. I'm not sure.
Don't worry about that. We're not worried about functionality here.
So that's a tablespoon. I feel like it needs even more. So I'm going to start with a tablespoon and a half of salt.
Are you done with the salt?
I am done with the salt for now.
Done with these.
So I don't need the salt glasses. Okay. Also, you want to add some pepper. We like a good amount of pepper in our mashed potatoes. Again, this is your preference, so just stand here and grind until you can't grind no more. You can use a hand mixer, like a hand mixer, beaters, whatever you call them, if you want. We always use a masher, and I think I like it. You get what you like to use, get that ready to go. Now you want to add your milk. Now you start mashing, and then you figure out what you need. What I want you to see how it's kind of thick? It's smashing really nicely, but it's kind of thick. We want it to be more creamy. So that's when you add more milk. Just add a little bit more. And you kind of, after a while, you start mashing like this and stirring at the same time. Okay, so now they're getting nice and fluffy. So that's good. I'm gonna add, just for richness, creaminess, just some sour cream like this. That's probably like 2 tablespoons if you're really gonna measure it, 1/4 cup at the most. Now mix that up. Now, the most important part is to taste it, because who knows if you have enough salt, pepper, whatnot. You'll just know when you taste it. So get yourself a spoon and find out.
Yeah, that's better.
So this is our final delicious mashed potatoes here. Those are all ready to go. Lick the masher. My mom always used a hand mixer, and I would get to lick the beater. And my sister would get to lick the other one. And that was the best part. Moving on in our Thanksgiving dress rehearsal, the next thing that we are going to show you how to make are Brussels sprouts. Now these are a little special. They're a lot special because they have bacon in them, which means they're going to be amazing. Also, they are going to be drizzled with a balsamic glaze at the end when they come out of the oven. I would say choose the dish that you're going to serve it in. So I think this will work out nicely. And I'm just going to spray the bottom of the pan with avocado oil. And now I've got here just shy of 2 pounds. It's about 1 pound, 14 ounces of Brussels sprouts. And how you want to do this is, for each Brussels sprout, you want to take off this end part. They are edible, but they're very tough. So they're not very pleasant to eat. They're, a little bit more chewing that you want to do. So what I like to do is cut the ends of these off. And then once you do that, cut it in half, like lengthwise, like this. That way, it's more of the Brussels sprout to be able to brown and get that caramelization. Cut that off, cut this in half, pop it in your dish. And you want to just go through and do all of those. I will get these all cut up and ready for the next step. So the next thing we're going to do is make our balsamic glaze. So we're going to do about 1 cup of balsamic vinegar. We're going to end up reducing this by half and end up with about 1/2 cup. Also, you want it to be a little sweet, so add a little honey. So then sweeten it with, I don't know, is it like 1/2 tablespoon of honey or so? Just sweeten it. I'm going to give it a little stir. Now we want to put this in over a high flame just until it starts to boil, and then we will lower the flame just to a simmer and let it go between 12 and 15 minutes or so until it's reduced by half. And we'll test it. It basically needs to start coating the back of your spoon, and then you know it's done. See, this is bubbling. I'm going to turn this down a bit, about halfway down, and just make sure it's still simmering. Okay, just a lighter simmer. So the Brussels sprouts are going to go in the oven, but they're going to go into a higher temperature oven. So If your oven's still on or if it's not, put your oven to 425 degrees. Let's take a look at our balsamic glaze and see how that's doing. Yeah. I don't even know how long it's been.
Just reduce it down to there.
Yeah. Might be. I'm going to turn this off and let it start to cool and see, because that's going to thicken as it cools too. So I'm just going to pour it in here. And that seems to be about a half a cup, right?
Yeah.
So let's just let that kind of chill out.
Leave her alone, Spatch.
Oh my gosh. Just this taste, it's like like that sweet tart kind of, like, it makes your mouth water. It's that really strong tang with sweet. It's good. It's good. It's going to make these Brussels sprouts like really addictive, I think. The other component to these delicious Brussels sprouts is bacon. Thick cut bacon. Get thick cut bacon. Maybe like about half. I don't know. Tear. 8.9 ounces. Yeah. Okay. So take about that much bacon and cut it into lardons, baby. Okay. So let's take our pan or pot or whatever you're using and put the fire on high. You think the second muffin pan was the Juicy Joe muffin pan, apparently. Would you like, everyone, would you like to look at what has happened to the second muffin pan? I think they want to see it. I think they want to see it. Yes. Now, I have had 2 bites just now because I was getting worried that I wasn't going to be able to taste them. Anyway. Okay. So, nice hot pan, got a nice sizzle, and we are going to cook up our bacon. The next thing that you want to do with the Brussels sprouts is you want to dress them. So you're going to take your olive oil and just drizzle the olive oil on top, about like that. Now we're going to do 3 things: salt, pepper, and garlic. Okay. Grab your bulb of garlic. Get a nice big fat clove. If it's a nice big fat clove, 1 clove will be enough. Salt, pepper, and garlic, and then go ahead and stir it up so that everything is coating all of this wonderful Brussels sprouts, and they are going to be ready to receive the bacon. So they're nearly where we want them to be because, again, we're going to put them in with these Brussels sprouts, and they're going to keep cooking with the Brussels sprouts, depositing their deliciously fatty goodness. Yeah. As he finishes that pan of stuffing muffins. Spoiler alert, they're delicious. Apparently. I don't know. Yeah, I guess we only made 12. So it's still like, you know, it's just getting brown, but like you can still go for a little bit. That's when I want you to stop. So take this and then just, if you get a little bit of fat on there, hey, that's good. And just scatter it about, but try to like do it evenly. All this yumminess on your Brussels sprouts. And these are ready for the oven because the balsamic glaze is something that you're going to put on when they come out. So let's go ahead and put these in the oven, uncovered. 425, and I'm going to say about at 15 minutes we'll check them. We want them to be starting to really brown on the tops and caramelize and everything. We will show you what that looks like. So it has been 25 minutes and it looks like the Brussels sprouts are done. So let me show you what they should look like when they're done. So you are looking at this area right here on the Brussels sprouts where it's browning. and you can see some of the leaves, the Brussels sprouts leaves. They are brown and kind of crunchy. That is when you want to see. And then you want to take your balsamic glaze and look at that. See how it's starting to really thicken up? So we're going to stir this up nice. I can feel it too. Look at that. Look at that. Take your big spoon. Make a nice diagonal drizzle if that's what you go for. And it's just something a little bit special, and it adds some sweetness. And then you can put the rest of this on the table. If somebody wants to add a little more, they can do so. And that's the final product for the Brussels sprouts.
Hold it up there.
Ooh. Wow. These are, in my opinion, the 3 essential side dishes that you should have on your Thanksgiving dinner table. It's time to taste. So I'm going to go for the Brussels sprouts first because it's the only thing I haven't actually tasted. Right from the middle, and a little piece of, it's got the glaze on it and everything, you can see. Perfectly cooked. It's got the right tenderness to it, the roastiness. The bacon is nice and crispy, and then the sweetness just, it goes so well with it. So the next thing, let's try
Yes.
the potatoes. I'm going to taste them even though I know exactly what they taste like. Take a look at that. They're creamy. Every now and again, you get a tiny little piece of the potato, and I like that. It's more rustic. It's got a little more texture to it. But for the most part, they're really creamy, actually. So the masher really works well. They're perfect. I love them. If you want classic, delicious potatoes, make them this way, and you will be good to go. Let's try one of these guys. So this is a beautiful one, I think. They're so good. You can probably hear that they're crispy. They're soft on the inside. And what I like is that it's perfectly portioned out. Everybody gets a muffin, probably more than one. These are so good, I would make extra so that people can have definitely one, like 2 to 3, I would say, just because they're really good. I think the kids are going to go crazy over them. Juicy Joe went nuts over them. I think he had 5 of them.
Not yet, but
soon. I'm really happy with how all of this came out. I think they are good looking side dishes. And really, if you just made these side dishes, put them together with your turkey and gravy and a pumpkin pie, you're set. You're good to go. You've got your dinner. I hope that this video helped you feel a little less anxious about Thanksgiving. If it is new to you, or even if it's not, and it gave you just something different to make, maybe a different way to make some classic side dishes. I'm Tara the Foodie. Happy Thanksgiving, and I will see you next time.